FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to and perhaps even watching the Financial Survival Network. Our good friend is with us now, Aaron Clarey, aka Captain Capitalism. Well, probably need his advice more than ever. More and more people are seeking out Aaron's advice at all costs, a result of the scamdemic, I would think. Anyways, we'd like to know how you're coping with the scamdemic. You staying home? Are you going out? Are you disobeying the mask mandate, or as we called it, the Great American Mask Hoax? What are you doing to cope with this? Email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. So Aaron, and you find Aaron at captaincapitalism.blogspot.com. Aaron, it's great to have you back on. So you're getting a little cabin fever here, huh?
Yes. So that not a little, a lot. And I have a house being built out in South Dakota, and so I can't go there until I could stay on the land. But yeah, I know most people have gained weight over this pandemic. I've lost about 5 pounds because I'm walking so much and running and just to get out of the house. But yeah, I ironically do have people contacting me, and thankfully for some good things too, through my consulting company. But it's kind of asking the wrong guy, like, how should I handle this pandemic? I'm stuck at home. And I'm like, yeah, you're asking the wrong guy because I'm being driven nuts right now. I'm not handling this well at all.
Yeah, well, for me, it's been a little different because it's been some vindication because I knew this event was coming. I'd been talking about it for years. I remember when I used to have Andy Hoffman on the show, good old ranting Andy Hoffman.
Andy. Yeah.
And we say the next crash is going to be way worse than 08 and 09, never imagining that this scamdemic would close everything down. This thing is the biggest scam. Hey, by the way, just as an aside, I actually ordered up some hydroxychloroquine and zinc. I'm going to take it as a preventative measure because, look, the science is virtually, I don't want to say it's indisputable, but 51 studies have said it works. 16 studies have said it doesn't work. Of the 16 studies, a lot of them were doing it on the wrong patients, in the wrong timing, late in the progression of the virus. I mean, for $40 and another $10 worth of zinc, I think it's, if you're younger than me, you don't have to worry about it. Me, I'm at that order age. I'm 63, and I don't really have any uncontrolled comorbidities, but who the heck knows? I feel like as an insurance policy, it's not going to kill you. You know right away if you get arrhythmia from it, and you stop taking this stuff. And but for me, it's I wouldn't say it's been a super enjoyable time of my life. I had a lot of trips canceled. A lot of visitors didn't show up, but it hasn't been an unmitigated disaster. I've been moving the show ahead, working harder, kind of refocused, reinvigorated myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good for business. There's been no doubt about that. I've noticed a significant, about a 20% jump in revenues, traffic, consulting. So it's all good. And there is that huge, and you can't put a price on it, but being vindicated, the vindication, like when I called the housing crisis before it happened, or the dot-com bubble, and not to mention all of the naysayers, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. When this happens, it kind of reminds everybody that, the person who's pointing out the emperor has no clothes, or the person trying to warn you about the impending, they're not doing it for S's and G's. They're doing it because they've seen some data, and society as a group has they go into herd mentality, whatever's profitable, even if it's lemmings running off a cliff. And so it is times like these that, guys like you, me, the shifts of the world, not to necessarily contrarians, but people, just independent-minded people who have the balls to say, this is not sustainable, this isn't good, or this is what's going to happen. And you catch flack. But then when it actually happens, yeah, it's nice. And yes, if you've taken positions to capitalize on it, it has. Now, I don't know about you, but to show you the kind of funny world we're in, I was blown away with GDP dropping a full third. Because we've never seen that. That's never happened. And to witness that as economic history, I find it fascinating. So kind of as what you're alluding to before, yes, the world may be chaotic, but man, it's great to be prepared and great to be in a position of I told you so, and to be inoculated against it. In an ironic sense, you and I could never consider ourselves essential. There's no way we're essential.
No.
What we're doing, this is not essential, but business is booming. And for once, I like being the lucky guy. Like for once, I'm on the up. Not only are things normal, I don't have to worry about food, clothing, and shelter. I'm making money on this. So I do feel bad for the vast majority of people. I'm being driven nuts, being forced to stay inside or not go hang out with my buddies or all these crazy restrictions that we have. But there is a very large silver lining, pun intended, to this chaos, this crisis, the coronavirus and all that other stuff. But all that being said, I'd like things to go back to normal so I could go have a beer with a buddy and not have to worry about masks or anything.
Yeah, same thing. I'm like really a big opponent of the great American mask hoax. Mm-hmm. They don't do any good. Like my friend Mickey Fulp is, I can't really say, but he was wearing some inappropriate mask and was asked not to stay in a restaurant. He had to leave. But I wear the least obtrusive mask I can. It's basically a neck gaiter. If it was any thinner, it would be paper. And it does absolutely no good whatsoever for anything. It is all but useless. But what I've done is I've complied with the letter of the law, if not the spirit, and they have to let me in now. So that's the world we're in here, Aaron.
The last book I wrote, because you got to sit down and think things through. And what I ended up happening upon was what I like to call the last and greatest American luxury. And because we're consuming cars and Ferraris and this and that, I mean, when does it end? What I found out people pay the most for is lies. They want to live a lie that, my liberal arts degree, it has value, or the college experience, I'm an intellectual. And the person of all people who made me realize the value of lies wasn't P.T. Barnum, because him and I didn't live it, but it was Oprah. And I'm looking at Oprah, and I finally figured out what the American people want. They just want to be lied to. And so even though logic, data, research, I don't know how much more empirical evidence or what would convince people, they don't care. They want to wear the mask, and they want you to wear the mask because it makes them feel good. And that's the last and final American luxury good, because I don't know what else there is aside from living in La La Land, this kind of virtual reality where you force the rest of society to indulge you in your delusions. And the sad thing is when you look at polling data, is just how many people believe it. And then this gets to you where it's like, obey by the letter of the law, because ain't nobody going to listen to you. You're not going to convince anyone, and all you're doing is banging your head against the wall. Trying to convince people otherwise. So it's this unfortunate, all right, fine, I'll heal, I'll succumb, I'll wear your stupid mask so I can get my coffee today. But my respect for the American public has gone down even further than it has before, and convinced me even more so that my future endeavors, I got a couple projects that I got to do here. They're currently on the stove and about to be finished. But going forward, the rest of my life, I'm not doing this truth stuff anymore, pointing out the emperor has no clothes. I am lying. I want me that Oprah money. So that's what this pandemic didn't teach me, but already reinforced what I knew.
It's so great. Yeah, lies. Tell me sweet little lies, as the song goes. And reminds me of the Jack Nicholson movie, Tom Cruise, A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth. Right. I'll tell you the truth. You can't handle the truth. Right. And that really is the truth. Most of you out there don't want to know about it. I mean, in all reality, we've watched the inner cities of our country deteriorate since the early 1960s. Mm-hmm. They've just totally deteriorated and have gone downhill, become uninhabitable. They've all become like Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And yet the GDP is growing, so we want to think our country is healthy. but it's been on a downward track, arguably since World War II, but maybe from the 50s, early 60s, start of Vietnam. It's been on a downward trajectory. And we've had stuff like the internet, which kind of allowed us the luxury of not seeing it. But finally, it's out there. And I mean, hey, you're right where it all started here in Minnesota. And, right by the epicenter of this insanity. And let's defund the police. Let's send in a bunch of psychologists to disarm the bank robbers, right?
Right.
Great idea.
And it's the true test for guys like you and me and your listening audience and anyone who's independent minded is, are you going to fight that? Or are you just going to accept it and play along and stoically let it happen? Because that back in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, that was right where my first house was. My neighborhood bar got torched. Are you going to rationalize and reason with a mob, a bunch of NPCs? It's an only you are hurting yourself. And so it takes some stoicism. It takes some, I wouldn't say meditation, but you really got to think your philosophy through and just realize there's nothing you can do about it, no matter how bad it is. I mean, you bring up the Black community. Is anybody that dared to say, hey, go major in the right thing, don't have kids you can't afford, don't commit crime, which would be advice you'd give anyone. But if you want to try to help the Black community, right, the irony, you want to help the Black or any community, you could pick up, we could say women, don't major in stupid stuff. Why are you destroying my dream, sexist? And after a while, you throw your hands up like, fine, burn it all down, have another couple generations living in a Baltimore or Detroit. You girls go major in worthless stuff, get $200,000 in debt, wonder why you can't find a man when he looks at your balance sheet. All right, just go ruin you. And I'm done trying to help you. Matter of fact, how do I get me some of that sweet, sweet money you gave Oprah or you gave the professors or you gave the Democrat Party? Give me some of that money. What lie do I got to sell you? Big is beautiful. Okay, ladies, big is beautiful. And you can do anything. And yes, you'll get tons of money with your master's degree in children's literature. And so, I mean, and you're a little bit older than me, and I got, more days behind me than I got in front of me. It's kind of like, which kind of route do you want to go? We've established careers telling people truth, trying to help people. And God bless people that do listen and they buy their silver or they major in the right thing or whatever advice that we've given on our respective channels has helped those that are willing to help themselves. But I'm kind of done with the, hey, people, stop hurting yourselves. And then people come in and call me, I'm a bad person. It's like, never mind. I'll be the drug dealer. What dope do you want? What heroin do you want? So I think that is any person who's industrious, certainly who's younger. If you want to try to help people, that's going to be a painful life experience. But selling people lies and indulging them, I think that's the future industry, because it's the only industry that's going to be left, the only one.
Hey, it just reminds me of H.L. Menken, and his old saying was, no one ever went broke underestimating the intelligence of the American public.
Right. The cynicism, nihilism, and misanthropy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's dark, but you can't deny what's happening empirically in front of your face. And so if this is the way the world wants to go, we're not going to stop it.
No, and I think the world will go this far for so long, and then it will have to, for survival's sake, bounce back. We're living in idiocracy here. Mm-hmm. We really are. Remember, the cops in idiocracy weren't too bright, and neither were the criminals, so they were fairly matched. But this is the idiocracy generation here, obviously, and until they decide that it's not working, that their eyes are not lying, it's really not working here. I don't know what it takes, but we were talking one thing though. Ideal vehicle for the dystopian society that we're entering is the Tesla pickup truck. All right. It's bulletproof glass, bulletproof panels. It looks like the angle of it's kind of made for driving through crowds.
Right.
And it could do that very effectively. And probably there's some places to mount guns and, to have hoses and stuff. Probably you could do kind of James Bond little smoke screen.
Right.
And maybe you could put out some 50 cals in front. This could be much better than a Hummer.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has a tight share structure, and with its current treasury, it can self-fund the advancement of its gold discovery into at least 2022. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to OsinoResources.com. That's OsinoResources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Well, you're going to have to find a fuel source. You're going to have your own electrical solar power generator. How is it is electric, right?
Yeah. All Teslas are electric. Yeah.
Right. So, but if the gas ain't pumping, which wouldn't require gas, the electrical grid hopefully works. But otherwise, you're going to have like a remote, solar power or wind thing or something to charge
generator.
Yeah.
You'll have a Tesla roof on your house, and if they don't burn your house down, you'll be generating electric for your house, and then you'll store it in a battery. We'll have like these huge batteries. They'll take up like 2/3 of your house. Right. But they'll store like 5 years of electric, so you can charge everything. You will. It'll be like hoarders, but you'll be hoarding batteries.
Bricks, right.
Battery walls, and your kids will be. But Daddy, I don't like sleeping standing up. What happened to my bed? Shut up, man. That's next year's energy supply.
That's your
talking
college
about.
Fund right there. That's your college investment. Be quiet.
Yeah, that's where we're kind of heading. So and people will rent out storage warehouses just to store their batteries, and people will be robbing each other for charged batteries for a charge. Right? Instead of siphoning gas, they'll say your money, your Tesla charger, or your life.
You know what? You're painting a dystopian future that would make a pretty good video game where everything is electrical charges and battery storage.
Yeah.
They're all battling. It'd be like, what was it? Mad Max, where they're all going after the one oil place that's refined, and they're going to kick all the people out. It'd be Mad Max, but for Tesla batteries.
Yeah, for batteries, like batteries to the people, batteries for the people.
I don't. Did you ever hear about Tesla's home battery?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's called their brick wall.
Well, when was that? I was looking forward to that because I'm like, dang, take me off the grid. Is it out? I thought they didn't work.
It's out. They're like really expensive though. What it enables you to do, if you probably where you live, where you're going to live in South Dakota, energy is really cheap because tax, no income tax, all this stuff. But you have this time of day billing in a lot of jurisdictions. And it says, if you go from 8 o'clock to like 5 or 6 in the morning, you pay like 1/10 of what you pay from prime time, which would be like 6 a.m. through like 8 p.m., especially in the summer. So I tried it once. I said, man, I'm paying like $1,000 a month to cool my house. This is in New York, Con Ed, total ripoff.
Oh, I was about to say, how big is your house? And then you said New York. I'm like, I heard
it was pretty big, but not that big. And so they had time of day billing. And I said, oh, you know what I'm going to do? Come 9 o'clock, I'm setting that on the timer on the air conditioning. I'm going to set it down 62 degrees. And then basically just let the house stay cold. And I tested it. It would stay cold till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I only needed to use primetime power for 3 hours. And then I got to the next. My kids and my wife were like, we're freezing. You're freezing us out of the house. I said, yeah, but I'm saving so much money on electric, that you can leave the lights on all the time. It doesn't matter. No. So I had to stop. But the experiment was a success. It's just that the experiment didn't take into account, the annoyance factor.
Other people.
The people factor.
Who are these people in my house? What do you mean, kid, wife? What? Well, how much did you save? What did it drop to?
It dropped like $300, $400 a month. And I didn't even get really into it because the experiment was aborted like after about 10 days. Oh, it was great. I mean, but that's the type of dystopian universe where we're going to be robbing people for electric charges. Hey, my cell phone's dead. You better charge my cell phone now. I'm going to blow your brains out. Charge my phone. That's what we're going to be like. That will be the currency of the realm, is electrical charges. Everything else will lose value, except as how it relates to an electrical charge. Obviously, guns and ammo will have value because it'll enable you to defend your charges or steal them from other people. So it'll definitely have value. But outside of that, nothing else. Maybe some water. Maybe you can trade some staples for a charge. I don't know, but we're heading to Mad Max universe, and hopefully it won't be dominated by female actresses like the remake. I hate those gender swap movies with a passion, Aaron, because they can't just make women superior. They have to make men look stupid.
Right.
That bothers me. All right. It's okay. You feel like you want women to be superior, I could live with that.
Or maybe you just want a female hero. Maybe the hero is female. Okay, cool. Wonder Woman was a good movie and a good example of that.
Yeah, and she didn't make Superman or Spider-Man look dumb.
No.
She was just excellent in her own right. So why can't we just have that? All right, female heroes without having to make the men look like morons.
Have you ever read How Not to Become a Millennial? Ever seen a copy of that?
That's one of your books? No, I didn't.
I contributed very heavily to it, but one of them in there is, and the reason why you can't just have a cool female superhero, why it has to take away or there has to be a political thing. And that's all these people have, Kerry. That's all they have is their politics. They don't have careers. They don't have jobs. Women have been conditioned and programmed to not want to have families or husbands. And if they do, it's more of a check mark than someone you love or children you take care of. I mean, the career is uber alles, but that doesn't fill the soul. What really now is replaced, be it religion, family, love, your children, is this, you can't even say religion. I'd say more of a cult of socialism and Marxism and of the SJW variant and variety. So you can't just have a good old flick. It has to be a female, and it can't just be a female. She has to drive a political sermon home about, I don't need no man or whatever, Captain America. I don't watch these movies or Mad Max. Did you know Mad Max had a guy in it? Mad Max actually started in that movie too. Did you see him? Did you?
Yeah, once upon a time, it was... Yeah, it just this feminization of men is really disheartening, and the belittling and just the destruction of gender roles. It just
or just good movies.
Yeah,
just the destruction of art and culture and music and theater or cinema. I guess we could say I don't even go to the movies anymore because it's like, no, I don't need your sermon. I don't need, and on top of it, it sucks. These movies aren't even good. The latest James Bond, now they're worried about this because they keep delaying it, then the COVID, they keep delaying it. And this is where they were going to be edgy. Come in 007 and I forget the actress's name, but it's a black woman. And after a while, it's like, oh, but James Bond is retired and they got to call him back. Like, no. All right. I'm done with your politics. You're not edgy. It's scripted. It's a playbook. You're not creative. And if you are so void of talent or creativity that, oh, geez, I wonder if we're going to put a black female in and substitute for whoever, James Bond, Superman, whatever. If that's your trick, if that's your marketing scheme, boy, the rest of that movie has got to suck. And so I just tap out. I'll go for another 9-mile walk if I have to and listen to some podcasts.
Hey, well, the next thing it'll be a transgender female who probably was the basketball champ
in a wheelchair,
the women's high school team.
Oh, sure. But by that time, it's like forget the you ever remember Blade with Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, it was a great
It was a
movie.
great flick. All right, it just happened. Remember Laura Croft, the video game, and then a movie? I mean, it wasn't the greatest movie ever, but there was a female hero. I mean, it's not like this hasn't happened before, like where you took someone who wasn't a white male, they made a movie, and people liked it. And there was no Blade didn't say, this is from my oppressed brothers and sisters in the Dracula. No, he just went around killing bad things, and then everybody liked it.
Yeah.
But no, the what's the word? I'm not vapid.
This is a symptom.
The lack of taste or desires or the demand for quality, and just keep feeding us this political drug of oppression and victimhood and diversity. It has ruined the ability to create something good. You can no longer have a piece of art without a political message. You can no longer have a TV show or a movie without a political message. And so, unfortunately, it's killed culture. There's nothing new or good like, say, Back to the Future or Ghostbusters or some original being made. And I could, okay, we're going to have Avengers 47. It's just remakes and sequels.
Yeah.
But yeah, the days of original stories, or a Casablanca or a Die Hard, or even Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, great class. That's over. We're not going to have that.
I think it would be Bitch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid now, right? It's like, you say what? Oh, we're... that's it for you, boy. You're done. There's no hope. Well, you know what they say. My former law partner, David, always used to say, Aaron, the situation is hopeless, but never serious. And hopefully it hasn't gotten any more serious now, but we'll let you go at that. Any questions or comments for Aaron? Email me, kl@kerrylutz.com. Check out his site, which is captaincapitalism.blogspot.com, and go to our site, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for a newsletter. We're going to be having a contest, Aaron, to guess the price of gold on August 13th, 2020 at 9 a.m., which is the date, 49 years to the day that Nixon closed the gold window.
Oh, okay.
And the prize will be a half ounce of gold, $1,000, which back then a half ounce of gold was about $16, and now it's about $1,000. So that gives you some idea about the erosion of purchasing power of the U.S. dollar. Anyways, hey, thanks for coming on. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having me on, Kerry.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.